guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Shelly. Here we talk about Shelly's thoughts over 60. Yep. So today, one of my thoughts was in a relationship, when it changes from partner to caregiver. What do I mean by that, right? What I mean is when you are with someone and that relationship starts to shift, right? You're going from a partner, husband, wife, lover, whatever, to what feels like a caregiver, right? And this isn't exclusive to women. This is men as well. How do you manage that shift, right? What now? And I mean, it's not the other person's fault. They need you. They need more care at that time or whatever the issue is. But you feel some type of way, right? You feel, I don't know, you feel like a caregiver. You don't feel like the significant other, the girlfriend, the husband, the wife, whatever. And it kind of makes you feel, I don't know, maybe less attractive or maybe less wanted or lonely. I mean, I think lonely could probably be a big feeling, right? You know, I have a lady in my grandma group now whose husband had a heart attack, and she said it was overnight. She went from husband, wife, going out, having a good time, to now she is a full-time caregiver. And it's been about, I think she said 7 months-ish, 6 months. There's no physical relationship there between them. And, you know, obviously for the first, at least, I think she said 6 weeks, she did everything. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, doctors, appointments, you know, paying bills, you know, everything. And she said she felt very alone, very lonely. Their kids were not involved. And she said she didn't really want to dump that on her kids anyway, which I can appreciate that. She didn't want to make them feel like, you know, they had to step in. I get that. But now she's left feeling very alone, is how she put it. So, I mean, what do you do, right? So a lot of people in the group were giving her advice like, you know, journal, set aside time for yourself, kind of like respite time, you know. Maybe have one of the kids come, stay with dad, you go out, go to lunch, see your friends. You know, don't stop your self-care, get your nails done, get your hair done, do something, you know, just for yourself that makes you feel good, that makes you feel better. Yeah, and I think all those things are good, right? I mean, I could see where that's really important. Because she's not feeling like a woman, right? She's not feeling like the, you know, desirable or whatever, you know. She said that, she doesn't feel the need to do her hair or put makeup on or dress up anymore, or and I get that, right? That kind of empty, lonely feeling. And that's really a tough one, right? Because it's obviously not the other person's fault. It's not her fault for the way she feels. But I could see where that would be a struggle. And a lot of the advice I saw was pretty good, you know. Talk to a therapist, talk to your friends, talk to your kids if they're, you know, obviously they're adults. And it's hard because you really don't want to talk to that partner, right? You don't want to say, hey, you know, I'm feeling some type of way because of this or because you need more care, right? It's probably not the time that, you know, you don't want to tell them that. You don't want them feeling some type of way either, right? You know, you don't want to hurt them. So here you are, right? So I think it's important. She saw a lot of things like affirmations and journaling, and I think all those things are really important. I think it is very important not to neglect yourself when you are caring for someone that you were once. It was a romantic thing, and now it's feeling more like caregiver instead of wife or girlfriend or husband or whatever the case is. So I think just don't neglect yourself. I'm not a therapist. I know I always tell y'all, not a therapist, not a doctor, nothing like that. But I do think it's real important not to neglect yourself, because what happens then, right? You're left caught in the shuffle, and then, you know, bad feelings start, and Ain't nobody wants none of that. So it's really hard to stay positive though. And her husband will recover. You know, I feel sorry for the ladies in my group that, you know, their husbands aren't gonna recover, or their wives, or whatever the case. Most of the people in my group are women. It's a grandma group. Y'all know I'm a grandma. So it's mostly women. And I talk to women whose husbands have had like massive strokes, or you know, God love them, you know, they have cancer or whatever, and they're taking care of these people that are just never going to get better, and it's really hard to navigate that. I can't imagine going through anything like that. Obviously, reach out to therapists, reach out to friends, family, you know, do the best you can to give yourself some respite, some peace, and still give the proper care to that person, right? So anyway, so that was my quick thought there. You know, I think it's rough when you feel, instead of feeling like the significant other, you feel like the caregiver. You know, that's a rough role, but it's kind of a necessary. You know, what is it there? But by the grace of God, go I. Right? That flip, the script could be flipped pretty quick, right? In any case. Anyway, so that was my thought. Let me know what you guys think. Have you ever been in that position where you had to be caregiver instead of wife or husband, or and how do you navigate that, right? Anyway, let me know what you think. You guys have a good day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.